Oh, another really good example of this, by the way, and unironically, in terms of like arbitrary decorum, is talking to people on Tinder. As far as I'm concerned, if you match with somebody on Tinder, like that's pretty much an explicit indication of mutual sexual, romantic, or at least friendly interest. Honestly, Tinder is a dating app. Anyone who's on there just to make friends can f off. Okay, serious. I hate you people. I know a lot of you only say that to weed out the worst people, and then you flirt with the people who remain. But still, I just yeah. Anyway, in terms of matching with people on Tinder, if you do like, in terms of like getting to the point, I feel like you could in like a purely logical sense, like you could just match with someone and immediately DM them and go like how big are your tits? Like do you want to fuck, like that stuff, right? But obviously that's really off-putting unless you're M for M, in which case that's pretty much the norm. But leaving those people aside, you know, if you're talking to ladies, generally considered a bit of a social faux pas. And and I think the reason for that is just because a lot of people are, trying to work out the vibes. By the way, when I'm flirting with men, okay, I am the woman in the sense that I am looking for any excuse to not respond to this person anymore. I hate men. If you think the ironic misogyny is bad, oh God. If you all think you're misandrists, okay, try dating men. My God, all right? I have so much respect for women who just casually did. Now, don't make it political or anything, but like dating men, holy Christ. They give you every possible excuse. Just, you know, you can match with so many hot guys on Tinder, and that's not a brag because men will swipe right on anything that moves. I swear to God. But the vibes are just so off on so many of them. Like they can barely carry a conversation, and I'm not going to fuck a person if they can't have a conversation with me. I value the ability to talk with people. I talk before sex. I talk during sex. I want to be able to talk to somebody. So yes, of course there is a class element to decorum. 100% explainocrat. There 100% is. You're right. That is an element worth looking into. But I'm focusing, I guess, on the elements here. But yeah. It's just, man, dating apps. Man, you can't even put chapstick on normally? What? Oh, it's a fucking TikTok video. My God. What do you think has led to people not being able to communicate at all nowadays? Okay, can I do the ultimate boomer post on you guys? Can I do the ultimate boomer post? Okay? I'm about to sound like a fucking tradcon. I'm about to sound like a fucking groiper. I'm gonna sound like a goddamn paleocon for a second with how boomer this post is, okay? So as some of you may know, I recently watched Hamilton. And while I have my political critiques of it, I broadly enjoyed it. It was made with a great deal of technical skill, and it made me interested because I wanted to see how much of the musical was completely made up. So I looked into the history, of Hamilton's life, and well, a lot of stuff, of course, has been narrativized. A lot of the big stuff is consistent. I looked through it, and that led me to reading, for the first time, the Federalist Papers, at least part of them, and also Washington's farewell address, and some of Hamilton's writings and stuff. And that led me to reading some other correspondences. And you only just now read some. I wasn't expected to back in school. Blame the American educational system for that, but anyway, I have to say, and I understand that this is very much only the case for a select group of people, and we're literally looking now in retrospect on the most educated and most successful people of their time, but I gotta say, I do respect the fact that in those days, there was a direct link between a person's perceived social worth and their eloquence, which doesn't really seem to be the case today. I mean, Trump was president, and all the wealthiest people on earth are like antisocial recluses who communicate only with like their mistresses and their board of directors, right? It's not like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos and Zuckerberg are exactly like, Renaissance men. Not even close. I do wish that people put more effort into eloquence. Not so they can all sound like 18th century philosophers, which the founding fathers did, but because I think that a greater specificity with language can help you live a generally better life. And I know for a fact that my ability to communicate has made me, um, I'm happier in a lot of respects in my relationships and just generally. It's one of the reasons why, actually, it's the only reason why I respect Obama. This is the only one he gets, is that he is one of the few modern political figures in the West who I can think of who probably in terms of eloquence and, well, he was a constitutional law scholar, right? In terms of his chops probably would have put him up there in terms of his oration and eloquence. Obviously, of course, as a White House correspondent, you have like you have a script written for you. You know, he doesn't write his own speeches, but um, yes. Anyway, I don't know. I think that'd be nice. You understand what I'm talking about, right? Haha, you said the only black president was very eloquent. Please no ban. Well, I mean, more so than any other president in the past century that I can think of, right? Was there another? I mean, I know JFK was famed, but it was like a televised debate. He was very attractive. And you know, Roosevelt had his fireside speeches, but I've listened to those and he didn't come across as nearly. No, FDR was a great speaker, but I genuinely feel like Obama was like exceptional in this respect, you know. And again, this is all I'm giving him credit for. Leave the politics on the table. In this respect, he is exceptional, I think. No, the fireside chats were really good. I don't know. I don't know. Look, you can't like objectively compare these. Eisenhower's had some good ones. I don't know if, yeah, yeah. Um, Reagan had speechwriters. They all have speechwriters. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? I just think that the eloquence is cool. I think it's nice to prioritize that, right? I think that it's important for our leaders to be good speakers because being good at speaking, you know, not even in like a hoity-toity high class kind of way, but just being really good at communicating ideas, I think makes it easier to well, not to relate necessarily. I don't know. I think it's virtuous, right? Are we not all locked in our own perceptive prisons? We are only ever capable of seeing the world from within our own boundaries, are we not? The better we can communicate, the more we can get close to one another, the more able we are to understand others' experiences, you know? It means if we can speak better, others can listen better. And if others can listen better, they can understand us better and vice versa. It gives us the ability to meet and to communicate in ways that we couldn't otherwise. And I don't know. I feel like if I read a modern like statement that's put out by, say, Zuckerberg, you know, like he'll do like these PR statements now and again, I get nothing from him. It's literally just like a corporate, it's like corporate like dictation by committee, right? But when I read some of the stuff that Hamilton had written, I felt like I knew him a little bit, you know? I know that sounds dumb. I'm just the man put a lot of himself into his writing. I think that's very respectable. And he wrote a lot. That was one of the central points of the musical, but he really did write quite a bit. It's true that people can use communicative abilities to obfuscate their points, but I don't know if that's like an added bonus. I mean, Trump lied about everything and also was a moron, so I don't really know. Watching someone who speaks well is captivating, even to people who don't understand the words. The commoners used to go to church just to listen to someone orate Latin to them, and they didn't understand the Mao. Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying that in the modern world, elocution, elocution? Elocution? Wait, which is it? Elocution or eloquation? Elocution? Elocution. I'm thinking of eloquency. Thank you. Eloquency, elocution. Thank you. These things don't have to be class exclusionary anymore. Obviously, they still are. It's not like everyone in America gets a good education, but I feel like we live in a time where almost anyone has the ability to become well-read enough to be able to speak, you know, with some degree of, you know, with a greater degree of grace and specificity than many people today seem to be capable of or willing to engage in. And a lot of people think this is like a race or a class thing, true, but it's not inherently, and it doesn't have to be Eurocentric either. Like, if you take a look at, there are plenty of, and don't ask me to, like, follow up on this, because I'm not well educated on it, and I'm not, like, that knowledgeable, but there are plenty of, like, rap and hip-hop songs where the diction there is, in my mind, as compelling and as well-written and as, you know, eloquent as anything the founding fathers wrote. It's just, well, obviously it's a different format, you know. Kendrick an example? I don't know much about hip hop, but let's just say sure. Kendrick Lamar, lambast me if you will, fine. But the only thing I'm saying is that it's not all about sounding like Shakespeare or the founding fathers, okay? It's just about the ability to express yourself, to communicate. And whether that's being done in hoity-toity like 18th century diction or that's being done in modern hip hop lyrics, either way, the ability is very, very important, okay? Kendrick is more like pop music. Okay, yeah, just, whatever. If it's a good lyricist, it's a good lyricist. Are we anti-federalist? Well, the interesting thing back then is that the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans both had good points and both had bad points, as opposed to today, where the Republicans have exclusively bad points and the Democrats have weak versions of good points and also bad points. But back then, there was, how very centrist of you. I think I might have been a centrist back then, right? The big issue with the Federalists, Alexander Hamilton was like considered to be kind of sympathetic to the monarchy. He wanted lifetime appointments for the presidency, tried to convince Washington not to step down. And he wanted to cozy up to the aristocrats in England after the Revolution. Whereas the Democratic Republicans were, well, Republicans. They wanted like term appointments, and they wanted to cozy up to revolutionary France, so that was like a big difference. The one thing the Federalists got right, though, is the idea of like centralized state government, because the ability for a strong federal government to regulate commerce and political engagement between the states ended up being necessary for a ton of stuff in the future, one of which was ending slavery. If it weren't for the Federalists working to centralize credit and like build a strong federal government, Federalist Papers, blah, 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 then we probably wouldn't have had the national backbone to meaningfully step up against, slavery. The Democratic Republican faction was led by Jefferson, right? And Jefferson owned like hundreds and hundreds of slaves, but he was also more pro-freedom than Hamilton was, despite being more of a slaver than Hamilton was. It was a weird time. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Okay, that was quite the stun lock. And somehow we gained viewers during it, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay.